But there was an era when we lost our minds on building materials. In the 60s and 70s, we really were like, what could kill us the bestest, fastest?
This is Las Vegas Real Estate Now with local real estate expert Harvey Blankfeld.
Darren, I found this article in a Realtor magazine, and it's a little dated, but it's pertinent. It comes time. It's the top 10 legal risks for real estate agents, which pertains to the consumers as well. So consumers can understand this. And number one is misrepresentation, the misstating of material facts.
I don't even have to read it. I could have told you that.
Yeah, it's number one because you deal with this all the time.
It's the number one.
It's crazy. People lie about either conditions or whatever. The second one was breach of fiduciary duty, and that basically involves dual agency most of the time.
Well, that's just you have a job to look out for your client as a real estate agent, and then the buyer or seller says, mostly buyers,
right?
Okay, and then it's a combination of number one, really. It's an amalgamation of number one, and that is. You should have told me as my agent, to dig deeper.
Right.
Which is a tough case to prove.
Yeah.
Or something didn't happen.
I don't know how to segue into the third item, but it's fair housing.
All right, so that's actually not as prevalent as you'd think.
Right. The first two are the monsters.
Especially in the West Coast.
Right. We can't say things in our advertising like no children or perfect for empty nest. We can't say those things because that's age discrimination.
We now have to have it on the MLS in 72 hours.
Yeah.
So there's no more pocket listings.
Right.
As a result of fair housing.
There you go. The fourth item in here is antitrust to prevent unreasonable restraint of trade. And so basically,
that's really not a consumer. It's written.
That's between the brokers.
It's between the brokers, and the only people that really enforce that are the DOJ.
And that's if a brokerage fixes costs or blackballs or avoids working with another specific broker. Broker advertising is the fifth one. We kind of touched on that.
Which again is not really the consumer saying, "Hey, NRED, I'm really concerned about Darren's business cards."
Right. They don't have his license number.
Nevada Real Estate Division monitoring us.
Yeah.
But it's time waster.
Here's one that, again, just specifically to brokers, status of salespeople as employees or independent contractors.
That's another whole
little thing. But again, not little to do with consumers.
Nobody listening to this cares, but to us, that's our whole
Here's one
world.
We've been talking about all day is environmental issues such as asbestos, lead-based paint, mold, carbon monoxide, and groundwater contamination.
Much more big in the East Coast.
Next is RESPA.
RESPA is a complete federal statute about, again, the whole thing is based on discrimination. RESPA is all about not overcharging consumers.
There it is. The next one on my list, Darren, is the unauthorized practice of law. And this is interesting.
That's because we write contracts as real estate agents.
Yes.
And for the most part, the board writes our contracts for us. And
we just fill in the blanks.
That's how we get around it.
Yeah.
And it truly is uncharted territory. The argument is we don't write contracts. They're pre-formatted, looked over by attorneys. And then we do help with terms, language.
Right.
And, that's just business, right?
The last item on the list is ADA, Americans with Disabilities Act.
ADA is really for really for tenants.
Yeah.
Because you can sell a home that certain persons would have a very difficult time getting around in. But if you have a residential duplex or a apartment complex, that's a big deal.
And then what this says is, and mainly revolves around brokers' offices and other commercial properties, and that's the other thing.
And that gets back into discrimination and whatever.
You've been listening to Las Vegas Real Estate Now. If you ever have a question about real estate or any of the other topics we cover, just call me off air or text me at 702-203-1165. You can also check us out on the web at lvrealestateradio.com or on our handle on social media at lvrealestateradio.